The Mount Moon Review podcast, while a podcast about Pokemon, is not intended for children. You can expect some instances of adult humor, coarse language, and adult situations. Parental discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 41 of the Mount Moon Review podcast, the only podcast where no news isn't necessarily good news. I am your host, the Razgrees, with my co-host, the Blue Duck Gold Duck, coming at you with all the information that, quite frankly, we have in the world of Pokemon for this week, and quite frankly, a lot less than an hour. A little bit of a different intro this week, Duck.
Yeah, sucks. There's nothing to really talk about. I had to fish for some stuff.
There's not a whole heap this week. So this will be an abbreviated form of the podcast, and we also have a bit of a bad announcement to make, but I'll get to that. Let's get to the news first and foremost, Duck.
Okay.
What do you got for us?
Let's start things off with video game news. Okay, let's move on to TCG.
Excellent.
So remember 2 weeks ago when we were talking about how Limitless tried to have a tournament and was just a complete and utter disaster?
But it wasn't their fault, and it wasn't their fault. And that's the big thing we wanted to convey. It wasn't Limitless's fault. They were doing a good thing. It was just the server they used was not designed for that amount of response. And they're crashed. So and then when they tried to reboot in round 3, they lost the results from round 2. And yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the tournament organizer because I'm sure they were literally having an anxiety attack throughout the whole thing.
I can only imagine the kind of I have anxiety when my tournament's running smooth. So
yeah. So, but they tried it again this week.
Yeah, they scheduled it for 2 weeks away. They wanted to look at some other platforms to use, and they actually teamed up with something called Smash GG, which I've never heard of. That's who ran the tournament, and then
usually your .ggs, those are Discord servers.
Okay.
So they did this over Discord.
Oh, okay, so they posted their matches and everything. Yeah. Kind of like Wii U when we have tournaments.
Yes.
And then for the pairings and everything, it was all run by Arcanine Labs, which is, who the Pokemon company uses for their regionals and everything. So it's really cool that they actually got to, team up with them, and people who are experienced running tournaments way bigger than this could take a little bit of the weight off their shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, Arcanine, I was actually approached them about using Arcanine Studios for the League Cup we did at LinkCon last year, and there's a cost associated with per user, so that's where it comes from. But it's not an astronomical price. But considering it was a charity event, that's the only reason we didn't use them, and we just went the traditional Tom route. And it worked out okay for us. It wasn't like a mega regionals type event, so we did okay. But for an event that size, having the ability to have RK9 do it as opposed to someone doing it with Tom, because I really don't have a whole lot of problems using Tom, but I'm also haven't run a regionals type event from the judges' seat. So
yeah, regionals, they have like 3 or 4 people entering results. So
and they're using barcode scanners.
Right. There's a whole bunch of meat in there I've never dug into.
Yeah, and Tom is touchy on a good day, So
yeah.
But no, so they did it. It went through. I don't think they had as large of numbers as they did for the first event, but they still had a rather large event going on.
I actually don't think I didn't see numbers.
That's all right. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
They had a successful event, and people should look for them in the future because I didn't hear any real complaints coming out of this one.
Yeah, like you heard about it last time. I didn't hear about it before it started, and I heard about it failing. They are going to have 3 more completely open tournaments.
Yeah, these are all qualifiers for a bigger event.
Yeah, for an invitational.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next qualifier is going to be on May 2nd and May 3rd. So like,
plenty of time.
Sign up by then.
Plenty of time.
Yep. Day 1 is May 2nd. Day 2 is May 3rd. I was reading about how they're running these, and here's something that I don't know is for the best, but maybe it is. Let me hear your opinion on this. Seeds 13 through 16, so 4 slots of the top 16, are all held off for YouTubers. And the community votes on which YouTubers get to play in the top 16.
Okay. I can see the reasoning behind it.
Right, it gets people want to watch the streamers. Like, I get excited when I see the streamers and YouTubers get on stream at the regionals. But at the same time, if they didn't earn it, like, they're in the tournament, and it says if they make top 16, by winning enough, then it'll go down to the next person in line, like the next person that got the most votes. But, like, I feel like the person that would have been in top 16 is real salty that they're not in top 16 because they didn't get top 12.
So first and foremost, Limitless is not a charity. Limitless is a business. It's primarily a website, but they do other things too. But primarily, it is a business. They're there to make money, and the only way they're going to make money is if they get the word out. And Limitless is very well known in the Pokemon community. People go there to steal deck lists every day. But if you're going to build on anything and get any kind of advertising revenue, you're going to need to have that exposure. And where else are you going to get exposure from Pokemon other than your streamers? And so I can see them having to do something like that, because not everyone that's playing on PTCGO is going to have the ability to set up a stream. Right now, everybody and their mother's trying to get into streaming because they're all home and they're bored. A lot of your D-list celebrities are getting on Twitch, and it's actually really obnoxious is what it is. But it's funny because you'll see them get on there, and these are people that have money to sink into equipment, and nevertheless they have no idea what they're doing. And but people will still flock to them because for whatever reason they are either, I was on TV once for 5 minutes, or look at my boobs, and or both. And people will go there and watch that, and it actually, I think it hurts Twitch a lot, because what's going to end up happening is a lot of your streamers are going to be like, well, this is horrible, because now nobody will come into my room for the game that I'm playing because they all got to watch this chick from WWE that doesn't have a job anymore. So, and she pushes her boobs together. So that's a thing. Now, but Limitless, if they don't get out there and have people watch, they're not going to see any revenue off of anything. It's a double-edged sword. I don't like it, but at the same time, I recognize it as a necessary evil.
That's kind of the way I was feeling. Like, sure, I mean, they got to do what they got to do, and if you don't like it, then don't participate. You know what I mean? It's just, if I participated and I made top 15, I would be like,
yeah, I'd be salty about it.
I did. So the tournaments, the qualifiers are all free.
Yeah. And
the first qualifier and the fourth qualifier, the winner gets $200. So, they're accepting donations, from participants and people that want to watch, and then they did say it's going to a COVID-19 relief fund. But
yeah,
I just.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it as a necessary evil, but it is what it is. If you want to participate, you can go to limitlesstcg.com and get some details there.
Yep.
Moving on.
Next up.
So you got the format, Ducky.
Yeah. Well, I had the top deck list if you want to get into that, or
you can run them down just very briefly.
All right, so the top decks represented was ADP and Zacian. That's Arceus, Dialga, Palkia.
Of course.
Tag team, yeah. Blacephalon and Malamar. Those were like the top 3 decks that had the most representation at the tournament. And then the winning deck was Zacian and ADP, which I thought was crazy because there was a lot of Oranguru stall and Shinchino Mill
Really?
in the top 8. And I guess it doesn't care. I guess when you can attach 3 energy on turn 1, if you get lucky, it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't
to lose some energy.
Yeah, it don't hurt. People need to quit busting on the mill players. That's all I am saying.
Plus, they, I guess with ADP, you get the take 2 prize cards for knocking out their Orangurus and all their 1 prizers. So it makes sense.
Okay. All right. Anything else on the TCG side?
Nope.
Of course not, because this is a horrible week.
Yeah.
So where are we going next? Pokemon Go?
Pokemon Go.
There you go. Come on, couch potatoes. You can now play Pokemon Go.
From your couch.
Providing you actually still live somewhere where you have a decent amount of Pokestops.
Yeah, I can't play Pokemon Go from my couch.
Yeah,
and
me either.
You also got to spend money.
Yes, they did find a way to monetize it, folks. So it's not like they're being altruistic and trying to help the greater good by having people stay at home. They are monetizing it. So, Duck, give us the details.
So starting today, they're making, they're changing the spawn rates of Pokemon so that Pokemon will spawn a lot more from incense. Now, I don't know how much more. I don't know how significant it is, and they're changing the Pokemon that spawn from your incense every hour. So, if you want for every hour, you can spend 30 minutes on an incense, right? That's how long it lasts?
Yeah, they last for 30 minutes. You can drop an incense, half an hour, pick, catching, come back an hour, half hour after that, and it's a new Pokemon, supposedly.
And if you care, Shiny Sentret is also boosted.
Don't care. Don't care at all. And also the fact that typically there's a lot of times where you can see a raid and you still have to walk or get close enough to it. That's been taken away. As long as you can see it on your screen, you can participate in it. Which still doesn't help me at all because I can see one Pokestop and that is it, and it's not even a gym.
I can't see any Pokestops. They did say there's going to be a tab that has a close by raids you can select. So maybe it's further than you can see. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's not. I don't think that's live. The incense thing is live now. I don't think the remote raids is live yet. But it could be. I don't have the app.
Oh, you keep talking. I'll look at it.
Okay. Then while you look at that, we'll just roll into Pokemon Masters news.
That's still a thing?
It's still a thing.
Still a thing.
It actually has a fairly healthy event rate. Like, you're not spending more than 2 weeks without something else to do.
Oh, look. There's a Stantler and a Weedle.
Do you have an incense up?
No.
Oh.
Not going to either.
So a new legendary event in Pokemon Masters has started, and this time the Pokemon is Ho-Oh. So if you want Ho-Oh, just make sure you log in, make sure you grind out the event, get all the points to unlock Ho-Oh, and then also get all the points you're going to need to get Ho-Oh up to level 100 or whatever max level is, because it's specific to the event.
Yeah, so they want you to play, let it go away.
Yeah, but if you want to use Ho-Oh on your team, you got to get it up to max level, or else you'll have to wait till the next time they have a Ho-Oh iteration.
Which, Lord knows when that'll be.
Right. They already recycled Mewtwo once. So.
Yeah, they could. I mean, it's a possibility, but just if you're into Pokemon Masters, knock it out while you can. Save yourself the time and energy.
If you sit there and do it, like, you can get everything unlocked in one day.
Literally sitting there for a day, though. I don't want to be playing on my phone for a day on anything.
I can do it in a day after work. I did it for Mewtwo.
All right, fine, do that.
And then next bit of news is that the player character is going to be able to choose an egg, one of 3 eggs, and they each contain one of the Kanto starters, and it'll be in addition to the sync pair, along with Pikachu and Solgaleo if you got it.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It is what it is. If you're into Pokemon Masters, everyone loves Kanto Pokemon. So just take it while you can get it. I can't get into Masters. I just can't. Yeah. I just can't. It is such a horrible UI, and it's just, I can't do it. I know you were obsessed with it for a short time, but now you're over it too, I think.
Yeah, I am. I'm not kidding, Ho-Oh. Well, I spelled Ho-Oh wrong in the notes.
Yeah, I didn't even correct your spelling this week. So, that pretty much wraps up everything we have this week. Oh, you have some.
Collect the Pokeball tins. Dusk Ball just came out, and it says Dusk Ball and Premier Ball, but I'm pretty sure you can already get Premier Ball. So Dusk Ball's really the only new one. I put it in here because I know a lot of people that prefer to catch their Pokemon in Dusk Balls, so maybe you want it on the shelf or something. But yeah, that's it.
Maybe. So that's pretty much all we have. The only other piece of news we have is there are people that enjoy our podcast, whether it be on YouTube, on Facebook right now, on Twitch, when I do it on Twitch, which we've pretty much moved away from doing it live on Twitch. We're pretty much doing it on Facebook now. But typically what ends up happening is after we do the podcast, we will go through and extract the audio from it and upload that onto our podcast server that we pay for, and every single month I pay for out of pocket. And about 3 weeks ago, the certificate, the security certificate for that website expired. So now, anytime I try to access that web page to upload our files, I can't do it. So as of right now, we are 3 episodes back on the audio format for the podcast. Now, this is horrible for the people that only listen to the audio version and don't really ever consume the video portion, because they're not going to hear this message. But I'm still want to make the announcement in some way, shape, or form that now that the website's been down for 3 weeks, I have tried contacting the company via their support email, and I've gotten no response for an email every other day for a week. There's a phone number attached to the company. I've tried contacting them, and the phone line's disconnected. There is no way to unsubscribe from everything, so I've actually had to file a PayPal dispute against them, just so that we can make an attempt at getting the money back and prevent it from going forward. So what's probably going to end up happening is this week, I would not be the least bit surprised if once the payment doesn't go through for the month of May, that you're going to see all the audio archives disappear. Now, that being said, I do have backups of all the audio podcasts and all the video podcasts. All the video podcasts are available on our YouTube channel. If you just look up the Mount Moon Crew, you'll find us. It'll be our little chibis. And you can view every single episode of the Mount Moon Review podcast. I don't know why you'd want to, but there they are. You go back and see how much of a psychic types we actually are. That being said, if you listen to the audio version, they're probably going to go away until I can find a new podcast server. Right now, that is not really something I'm looking to do right now, because, quite frankly, they're not a cheap endeavor to host the podcasts. And I just got informed today that I'm getting a pay cut because of cutting costs. So that's not really looking too likely. So we'll stick on YouTube, we'll stick on Facebook, and we'll try to share it in other means that way. But for the time being, the audio podcast on Apple Podcasts and other platforms, Google Play and stuff like that, it's probably going to go away for a little while. Not very happy about it, but it's an unfortunate reality. On the plus side, if you do go to the YouTube channel, you can watch the Mount Moon Review podcast. You can watch the Untitled Anime Show. You can watch our shenanigans videos and anything else that we feel like putting together, because, quite frankly, most of us are bored. So, that being said, I think that is going to wrap us up for this very, very short episode of the Mount Moon Review podcast. Duck, do you have anything else?
That's it.
Then get us out of here.
All right, guys. Until next time, just remember, if it's too good to be blue, it's probably gold.
Have a week.
Just because your card is magic, you think you're safe because you killed my life orb. Baby, do you dare to not flinch? 'Cause I'm coming at you like a dark pulse. I know you're gonna gonna throw. You're gonna throw a stone, throw a stone. But I got that lucky chance, lucky chance. There's no critical hits.